Welcome. So glad to see all of you today. We wish we were with you physically, but we're happy to be with you virtually. My name is Angie, and I'm the Children's Department Manager at the Country Bookshop in Southern Pines, North Carolina. We welcome today our author, Stacy McAnulty. Yay, Stacy, a fellow North Carolinian, and we're so glad that you're with us today. Our partner organizations today are Macmillan Books and the Country Bookshop. The Country Bookshop in downtown Southern Pines is a 68-year-old independent bookshop with books for kids and for adults. We're open every day of the week and love hosting author events like today's, and in store and in schools also. We also do in-shop book fairs. If you're interested in that, I'd love to talk to you about that. If you'd like to purchase a copy of today's book and you didn't have a chance to do that through your school order form, you can visit us at www.thecountrybookshop.biz or give us a call at 910-692-3211. Our publishing partner for today is Macmillan Publishers. Macmillan publishes hardcover and paperback books for children of all ages and also for adults. They publish outstanding picture books, chapter books, books for middle graders, and books for young adults. And Stacy crosses a lot of those lines. So we'll talk about some of her books in just a minute. We'll also be taking questions throughout today's event in the chat section of the screen. So if you're curious about anything, if you have any burning questions for Stacy, this is the time to ask. And you'll notice there's a section on your screen called chat, and you can type your questions right in there. So I'd like to introduce our schools for today. We're hosting with 3 different schools: the O'Neill School with Miss Cutler's class. Hello. St. John Paul School is logged on live with us today. So it's so nice to see all of you. Welcome. And Sandhills Farm Life Elementary School. Welcome, Mrs. Blake and all of Sandhills Farm Life Trojans. So the most important guest for today is Stacy McAnulty, and she's here with us from her home. Are you in Kernersville, Winston-Salem area? Not too far from Southern Pines.
Right, Kernersville.
Few of her books here. So as I mentioned, Stacy writes books for kids, little kids and bigger kids. This is one of my favorites. The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl is one of her books for older kids. And she has a whole series of super fun, informative nonfiction picture books. We have a few of them here with me today: Moon and Mars. And then our special book for today is Our Planet. Again,
Angie, sorry to interrupt. The one participant is having trouble hearing. I can hear you. So it might be on their end. I don't see anybody else having an issue.
Not sure, Ms. Gerard. We can make sure that we're broadcasting. Maybe when Stacy starts talking, you can let me know. She can't hear me to say that. Let's see if I can.
Technology is awesome when it works.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go from there, and I'm screaming at you. Sorry about that. But we'll go ahead and keep going. And Ms. Gerard, we hope you can hear us. So Stacy's newest book is Our Planet. There's No Place Like Earth. Stacy, welcome. Welcome to us. Welcome to the Country Bookshop, and welcome to our event today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be connecting with everyone across the internet. I am in North Carolina, so even though we're doing this virtually, I'm not that far from y'all. I do live in Kernersville, which is between Winston-Salem and Greensboro. So kind of just down the road, just hop on 40 and come on over. You're in my home office. Welcome. This is where the magic happens. This is where I do most of my writing. I do have a laptop, so I can take it and work in a Starbucks or airport or something, but really I mostly work right here in this office. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to tell you a little bit how I write these books for the Our Universe series, how they started, and then we're going to play a little game and read the book. Does that sound good? All right. So the Our Universe series, Earth and Our Planet, Moon, Sun, I consider these nonfiction, even though they're told in a funny way. These are my nonfiction books. Now, when I started writing 9 years ago, I only wrote fiction. And I describe fiction as fake, phony, false. Can you guys say that with me? Fake, phony, false. So here's an example. Excellent Ed. This is a story about a dog, and it's not one of my dogs. It's a dog from my imagination. It is fiction. So that's mostly what I was writing, and I loved writing it. Now, when I write a story, I share it with friends. I share it with a critique group. And these are other authors that are also, they're writing books, so they know a little bit about writing. So I share stories with them. And what I did one day is I wrote a story about this. A rock, a pet rock, actually. And I have it right here. Typed it up, wrote this story, shared it with my friends, my writer friends online. And this story, again, it's fiction. It's called Rock by Stacy McAnulty. And it's about a rock that dreams of being a pet. So it says, Flint was a rock with a dream. Most rocks don't have dreams. Most rocks are happy just doing rock things, like being part of a mountain or gathering moss or gradually eroding. Flint didn't want any of that. He longed for the greatest job a rock could have. He dreamed of being a pet. So he set out to find someone to be a pet to. So he first finds a Brachiosaurus, and he's a pet to the Brachiosaurus for a while until an asteroid comes in. And then he's a pet to a woolly mammoth until Ice Age. And then he's a pet to a cave boy until the cave boy tries to use him to start a fire, and Flint gets right out of that cave. So I wrote this story, and it goes on and on about all the different owners that Flint has. He's a cave boy, a knight, a maiden, somebody during revolutionary times, all the way up till now. Again, I share this story with my friends. They read it and they go, like, Stacy, this is a horrible story. The rock is kind of going on forever and ever, but all the other characters are disappearing. They've lived their lives and they're gone. They're like, that's not a good story for kids. No kid wants to read that. I was like, critique group friends, you might be right. Not happy, but you might be right. So I started thinking about it more. And I was like, do I really want to write about Pet Rock? Or do I want to write about this rock, the rock we live on, the third rock from the sun? So I put that aside and I began thinking about this book, this story. And my first thought when doing this is this page. You can kind of see this ruler here demonstrating how old Earth is, way back here, 4.54 billion years, all the way up to now, and how humans, us Homo sapiens, we are very much now. We have not been here as long as Earth. So that was my thought. And I'm like, how could I tell that story? So I decided to write the story from Earth's perspective. And this story went on to be made into a book. The rock story is only in this form, a manuscript. It's only on paper, on my computer, on my desk. You can't get this at a bookstore or a library. So my question for you is this Pet Rock story, is it a failure? Or was it a step on the way to success? Right? What if I hadn't written this, would I have ever gotten to this? I can't know for sure, but I think I had to kind of strike out. I had a story that wasn't good enough to be published before I could write one that could be. So that's how I started writing the Our Universe series. Is my poor story about Flint, the pet rock, didn't go so good. Now, Earth did well. It was liked by educators and other adults, but it was liked by kids, the most important audience. So the publisher, and we've mentioned Macmillan sponsoring this today, and they're usually listed on the spine and the title page. They're the people that really make the books. The publisher's like, Stacy, people like Earth, let's make more. What else do you want to make? And I'm like, let's do Sun and Moon. So Sun and Moon come next. Sun and Moon came next. And at this point, I kind of had the idea that we're going to be writing, hopefully, a lot of these, and I had to come up with a way to write them. And I did. So I have a kind of a system for writing these books. And the first thing I must do is research. I need to know a lot about the subject. Again, they're nonfiction. I need to fill these books with facts. The way I do research is on the computer. Coming to you on the computer today. I have internet, obviously. I can Google things. So I will Google, what is the sun made of? How hot is the sun? How old is the sun? So that's one way to do research. I also read lots of books. You might be able to spy a bookshelf behind me filled with different books. So of course, reading books is a great way to do research. Then the last way I do research is to kind of take field trips. I'll go to museums. I'll go to space observatories and talk to the experts there and learn even more. While I'm doing all this, I take notes because I can't remember everything I learn. So I use notebooks and I take notes on what I learn so I can go to the next step, which in these books is coming up with a personality. Because I'll tell you right now, my least favorite kind of books are boring books. Let's just leave those on the shelf. I don't want to read them. So I'm trying to make these interesting. So I'm giving Earth, Sun, Moon, giving them all personalities, giving them kind of silly voices. So they're more interesting. With Earth, it's called, the title of the book is Earth, My First 4.54 Billion Years. So I wanted Earth to sound like a 4.5-year-old kid. That's the voice I'm going for. Earth is friendly because it's the only planet with life. So Earth, of course, is friendly. Earth is a bit of a know-it-all. You know, if you wrote a book about yourself, you'd be a bit of a know-it-all as well. And I made Earth a girl, Earth female, just because we say Mother Earth. With Sun, Sun is a little bit older. So he sounds a tiny bit older. Sun is, I did male for balance because we had female, Earth, Sun, male. And Sun wants to be a star. Do you get it? Wants to be a star. Sun wants to be the center of attention. So that was the kind of the voice that I wanted. He's wants to be almost like a celebrity. And that's the voice I used for Sun. So for each of these books, I come up with a different personality. So they all should sound a little bit different. And then finally, I do the writing part. And you saw my pet rock story, but here is Sun. This is, again, called a manuscript. This is what I do. It probably looks a little boring. I type up the story and I hand it in. I don't do the pictures on any of these books. I don't pick who does the pictures on any of these books. I don't pick the colors. I don't pick the font. Anything pretty it has nothing to do with me. But I start the whole process by writing the story. So I get to begin it, and then there's a whole team making it come together, the illustrator and all the people at the publishing house, the people in the factory making the books, but it all starts with a manuscript. So that's a little bit about where Earth came from the failed pet rock story, and how I write these books now. I thought that now we would kind of change directions a tiny bit, and we're going to play a game. And the point of this game is to show you some of the research I did while writing the new book, while writing our planet. Because I said I do a lot of research, and then I put that in the book. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate some of this research I did in this game. So I'm going to share my screen. And on the screen, do we see 7 books? Awesome. All right. Let's see if I can get it to advance. Okay. So we are playing the Awesome Earthling Trivia. We're playing Awesome Earthling Trivia. So if you are not from Earth, don't feel like you have to play. Okay. This is intended for Earthlings. So if you're just visiting, just sit back and watch. This is Awesome Earthling Trivia. It's pretty simple. I'm going to give you a statement. If you think it's true, you're going to give me a thumbs up. If you think it's false, you're going to give me a thumbs down. Now, in some cases, I'm trying to trick you. Some cases, I'm showing off that I did a lot of research and I'm a little bit smart about this now. So no offense if you get it wrong. I'm trying to play around with you. So I don't expect you to get 100. It's not for a grade. Let's just have some fun and see what we learn. First statement. There are about 8 million people on Earth. There are about 8 million people on Earth. Think it's true or false? True or false? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Lock in those answers. Dun, 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 dun. This one's false. Yes, there was one letter there that made it false because it's 8 billion, almost 8 billion, not 8 million. There's 8 billion for you in digit form. We haven't quite hit 8 billion yet. We're about next year, 2023, we should hit this 8 billion mark. I love this graph. It shows the world's population 200 years ago in 1820 over on the left. And then look at that growth. Look how much we're just like taking over this planet. We're infesting the planet. There are so many humans now. It's kind of awesome because it shows some good stuff. It shows like how healthcare has gotten better and we have antibiotics and people are living longer. So that's awesome. And we just see that humans are on every part of this planet. Fun fact, 4 babies are born every second on this planet. I don't know how long I've been talking, but that's a lot of babies that have been born since I started talking. I probably couldn't fit them all in this office. I'd be like swimming in babies at this point. It'd be up to here. So yes, 4 babies are born every second on this planet. All right, next statement. Earth is about 93 million miles from sun. True or false? This is like Jeopardy level question. So if you get it wrong, again, no offense. This one is true. So Earth is about 93 million miles from sun. And this picture here, that kind of green area is called the habitable zone. I have a hard time saying that, habitable. But it's a great distance from the sun. And another term they use for this is it's the Goldilocks zone because it's just right. Because if we got too close to sun, it'd be too hot. And if we got too far away from sun, it would be too cold. But we're just right in that Goldilocks zone. You might also notice a little red planet in that habitable zone as well, and that is Mars. But we know there's no life on Mars, so this can't be the only requirement for having life on a planet. It's not just the distance from the star. So what else is important? Well, the distance from the star is kind of that picture on your left. The upper picture is a picture of ocean. Having a world with lots of water is important. Life began in the oceans. The ocean also helps create oxygen. It takes out some of the bad stuff in our atmosphere, and it's pretty. One of the other things that makes Earth so super cool is atmosphere. So atmosphere is a blanket of gas wrapped around a planet. So you kind of see that in that picture down there. I like to call it a hug. Can you all give yourselves a hug? Oh, hugs are nice, right? So an atmosphere is wrapping us in this blanket, this hug. It's different gases that are wrapped around a planet. And each planet has a different kind of atmosphere. So next statement, our atmosphere is mostly made of oxygen. True or false? True or false? This one is false. Again, Jeopardy level question here. This one, most of the gas in our atmosphere is actually nitrogen, which is a perfectly fine gas. Oxygen comes in number 2. Now, who likes oxygen? If you're a mammal, you do. This is what we like to breathe in. It is what is going through, we take in through our lungs, and then it goes into our circulatory system, and our cells are delivering it to every part of our body. We need oxygen. And when we exhale something else. It's called CO2, carbon dioxide. This picture here is what they call a molecule. So we can't see this. This is super duper teeny tiny. We couldn't see this with a microscope. That's that tiny, but that's what that picture there represents. So carbon dioxide is what we're breathing out. And we hear carbon dioxide sometimes as a bad thing. It's not completely true because trees love carbon dioxide. That's what trees are eating. They use sunlight too, of course, but they take the carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. And again, we love oxygen. So us and the trees, we've got a good thing going here. We're taking in oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. Trees are taking carbon dioxide, giving out oxygen. Awesome. Except it is also carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. I don't know if I've ever actually even been in a greenhouse. So I like to think of it instead of a greenhouse gas as like a hot car gas. So you've all probably been in a hot car, in a car on a summer day where it's sunny out. And what happens is sun's light goes in through the windshield and then it gets trapped in the car. So it might be warm outside, but it's super hot in the car because that heat and light is getting in and it can't get back out. That's what a greenhouse gas can do to our Earth, is it's letting in, light and heat and energy from the sun, but it's not letting out as much into space as it used to. So again, we exhale CO2, that's fine, but we also create a lot of CO2 in things that we do every day and things that we use every day. Humans are awesome. We're great with technology, but we've accidentally created a lot of a gas in our atmosphere. So it might be from cars, factories, airplanes, and we've got to watch what we're doing to this blanket that is around our planet. And in general, the more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, the higher the temperature is going to be. So again, we got to watch this, even though it's not the most common gas by any means. We've just changing that number a little bit can start to make Earth warm. All right, climate is different than weather. True or false? True or false? This one is true. Sorry. I've asked this question negatively before, but climate is different than weather. This one is true. Water break. So climate is a big area, seasonal weather, and a big area over a long time. So climate should be the same, like over 30 years. Like if you're thinking about the North Pole in winter, you are thinking of a cold climate with maybe snow precipitation. And that's the way it should have been 30 years ago. And it's the way it should be 30 years from now. And you see in this picture, Earth is pointing to a climate forecast, and he's pointing to like a desert, and it was sunny and hot and dry 30 years ago, sunny, hot and dry today. It should be sunny, hot and dry tomorrow. Weather is different. Weather is usually more localized, and it's in the short term. Weather is what we want to know if we have a soccer game tomorrow. We want to know if it's going to be thunderstorms or snow or raining. So here you can see Earth is pointing to today's weather being sunny, and then tonight's going to be cloudy and windy, and tomorrow's going to be cloudy. Weather changes. Climate should be thought of as the same, as unchanging from season to season over 30 years. All right, next question. Scientists know of 7 planets that can support life. I kind of gave this away before when I was talking about Earth. Scientists know of 7 planets that can support life. True or false? True or false? This one we're going with false. We know of no life beyond Earth. While we have 8 planets in our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, only this guy, Earth, has known life. Here is kind of a picture of our solar system. You can see those 4 rocky planets closest to the sun. Then we get the 2 gas giants, and then we get the 2 frozen giants on the end. The way I remember the planets is using this device. My very energetic mother just served us nachos. The first letter of each of those matches up to the first letter of each planet. So my stands for Mercury, very Venus, energetic Earth, mother Mars, just Jupiter, served Saturn, us Uranus, nachos Neptune. And if you don't like nachos, you can use noodles instead. Now there's something called exoplanets. And these are planets that are not in our solar system. They're around other stars. This is an image, kind of a drawing. So imagine every time you look up in the night sky and you see the tiny dots of stars, if you could zoom in on those, most of those will actually have planets around them. So we're talking billions and billions of planets. So maybe there is potential for other life out there, but these are so far away. I believe if we went to our closest star in our current spaceship, like our fastest spaceship right now, it would take something like 70,000 years. That's a very long time. So we can't check those out up close and personal, but maybe we'll get some better telescopes or some better radio signals and find out what's going on these exoplanets. Last statement, humans can help keep Earth awesome. True or false? This is kind of an opinion question, and I think it's true. You've probably heard this term reduce, reuse, recycle. That is very important to helping our planet, and it's important to do it in this order. So maybe reduce the number of things that we buy. If you are going out for a kind of Happy Meal thing and they have a free toy, if it's not a toy that you really want, maybe say no thank you and leave it for another kid. We can reduce some of that stuff we use. We can reuse things. So say you do get a toy and you play with it for a year, but you're no longer into this toy. Let's not throw it in the trash. Let's give it away. Or you can even resell it if you're if you're an entrepreneur, if you will. And then if those things, the next step would be to recycle. So again, if we can get away with not putting it in the landfill and recycling it, that's better than throwing things away, of course. So those are just kind of the general simple ways we can help our planet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the book to you, and you will see these facts that I learned while doing research, how I put them in the book. And also notice if you can tell, if you hear any of Earth's personality coming through. So this is called Our Planet. There's No Place Like Earth. And it's by Earth with Stacy McAnulty, illustrated by Earth and David Litchfield. Hi, I'm Earth, also known as Planet Awesome, also known as your awesome home. Actually, I'm home to all the planets in all the plants in the solar system, and all the animals, including all the humans. That's nearly 8 billion people. Where else would you want to live? Where else could you live? On one of my 7 siblings, Mars, he's too cold. All his water is frozen. Venus, she's too hot. All her water evaporated in that heat. Me, Earth, just right. My average temperature is 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Reasons I'm a perfect home planet, besides all my oxygen, water, and ice cream. Distance from the sun, an ideal 93 million miles in a zone that's not too hot and not too cold. My massive ocean absorbs extra heat, helps make oxygen, and is very pretty. In my atmosphere, a blanket of gases that wraps me and you in a gentle hug. Hugs are nice. Without my atmosphere, my climate would be wacky and not good for flora, that's plants, and fauna, that's animals like you. Climate, seasonal weather over a long time, like 30 years, and in a big region. Climate is not the same as weather. Weather now or very soon and in a specific place. When climate does change, it should be slow. Like 700 million years ago when I was a giant snowball for a long time. Or 55 million years ago when I was nearly ice-free for a long time. Crocodile-like creatures live near the North Pole. But humans have accidentally moved my climate into the fast lane. I'm getting warm super quick. Uh-oh. It's because so many human things need energy. Energy to make them, energy to move them, energy to use them. Sometimes energy can lead to dirty water, dirty land, and dirty air. My atmosphere is getting messy, and this new blanket is very uncomfortable. It's making me sweaty. Icebergs are melting. Oceans are rising. Some land is flooding. Other land is too dry and hot. Yikes, not good. Weather is getting wild. Heat waves are dangerous. Sorry, guys. Big time troubles. And when I'm in trouble, Earthlings are in trouble too. While humans are some of my favorite Earthlings, please don't tell the aardvarks, you are not the only species that calls me home. My climate needs to be perfect for red pandas, green turtles, blue whales, black rhinos, great white sharks. Keep Earth colorful. Good news, it's not too late. We can stop passing the gas. Let me introduce some cleaner energies. Wind power, that's from, you guessed it, wind. Hydropower, that's from moving water. Human power, that's from your own 2 feet. Solar power, that's from sun. Humans can share stuff, make and buy less new stuff, reuse the old stuff, and recycle the worn out stuff. And let's make more room for flora. Trees are good for cleaning the air, cooling off, and climbing high. There's no other planet like me in the solar system, and I need your help to stay awesome. Earthlings need me, and I need Earthlings. We still love you, Earth. I hope so. And then at the back of the book, there's some more information about our awesome planet. There's more information about what's in our atmosphere, how that works, and ways to keep Earth awesome. What is next for me? Next picture book coming out will be Blood, Not Just a Vampire Drink. So we're doing more stuff about the body. That'll be in the summer. And then next month, for my slightly older reading friends, is Save the People, Halting Human Extinction. This is my first chapter book that is nonfiction. And the last part of it is all about human-caused climate change. So I get to take an even closer look at what is happening to Earth and our atmosphere and what humans are doing and what humans can do to keep Earth just right. So that's where I'm gonna stop and go back and talk with Miss Angie and take your questions from the chat.
Thank you, Stacy. That was so much fun. We appreciate all the work you do, digging down deep and finding all the random facts that we think are so much fun and so interesting, but then presenting them in a really, really fun way.
Thank you.
So my first question is from the O'Neill School, and one of the students there wants to know, did you make the Earth model that we can see in the background?
my big soft Earth back here.
Yeah.
I did not make him. I had him made. There's a company I think they're in Florida called Budsies, and you can send them art and they will make you a one of a kind. So if it's your own art, some people do that with their kids' art, or I did art that David Litchfield created from the book, so I could take Earth around with me to visit readers in person. So I think it's super cute, and I wish there were other ones that we could share, but he is the only one right now.
He's super fun. Well, Mrs. Gerard wants to know, what planet are you going to write about next? So maybe you can have another one made.
Sure. So I'm not doing a planet next. I'm doing a dwarf planet, Pluto. Pluto will be coming out next year. So probably like February 2023. So next school year. I have finished writing it. I have seen the art. It is so cute. We play up the whole idea of Pluto being the family pet, kind of the dog of the family. So it's very, very fun, and talking about Pluto's current status as a dwarf planet.
Well, that was actually one of the questions from Sandhills Farm Life, is what's your opinion? Pluto planet, exoplanet, dwarf planet. So
I am all good with Pluto being a dwarf planet because there's a lot we have yet to discover. I believe there's 5 dwarf planets total right now, though recently I read something that said 7, so there might have been 2 added that I missed, during the pandemic or something. I'm not sure. This is where I would do the research and I would write it down so I don't get it wrong. I know the 5, but I think as we get better technology and learn more, there's going to be even more dwarf planets. So I do think we need another category other than just planet, or all of a sudden we might have too many to keep track of, and my very energetic mother just served us nachos won't work anymore. And
if there were 7 dwarf planets, you could have the universe and the 7 dwarfs. That's the title.
There you go.
Mrs. Lefebvre's class wants to know, what is it like writing books?
What's it like writing books? Well, I think I have the best job in the world, and Angie may disagree with me because I know she really loves what she does as well. And I bet educators will disagree too. But I do feel very fortunate because I do love learning and writing. So I get to do that. That doesn't mean it's always good. I do struggle sometimes. And there is this kind of feeling that I always have homework because I always have something due. So even though my kids will be on spring break next week, I'll kind of have, I have homework. There's stuff that I should be doing. So while we're having fun during the day, I should also be doing some work at night. So yeah, it feels like homework sometimes, but there's no other job I would want.
So that Mrs. Stewart's class question moves right into that. And they say, how many more books do you think you will write?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I love my job, so I don't imagine I'm will retire. Maybe I'll do less. I had some years, that I was publishing 6 books a year when I had some chapter books, and that's a lot. Now I'm doing like 3 books a year, and maybe that'll cut back a little to like 1 book a year, but I hope to keep writing. I love writing, and I especially love writing for kiddos. You guys are just the best audience. You're honest, you're open, you want to see justice in all things, and I love writing for kids.
Sandhills Farm Life wants to know, what was one of the things that surprised you most when you were doing the research for any of your planet books?
Well, one of the things that I remember, and I'll probably think of like 3 more things when we log off, but I did not know sun spins. Sun spins on his axis. I didn't know that. I always think of sun as a very still and everything's going around. Sun is spinning and does it at different speeds, the top and bottom and in the center. So what happens about every 11 years, it kind of gets twisted up in this mess. If you imagine like a rubber band's being twisted, and then kind of the North Pole and the South Pole of the sun flip, and we get these cool solar activities, these solar storms and solar flares, and get the most awesome northern and southern lights. And I didn't know any of that. And I was like, whoa, that is so cool. Again, I think of big old sun being there and we're moving around, but sun is spinning and sun is going around the Milky Way as well. So I was like, whoa, sun's got a pretty active life.
Yeah. The O'Neill School wants to know, when you were 4, what did you want to do when you grew up?
When I was 4, I don't remember exactly 4, but I know elementary school, I wanted to be an astronaut. I did. I remember watching the space programs and things like that. And I really wanted to go to space camp, but I wanted to grow up and be an astronaut. Can you tell?
The Sandhills Farm Life wants to know, what do you do when you're not writing? What else? What do you do for fun?
What do I do when I'm not writing? So I'm a mom of 3 dogs. So I like to hang out with my dogs. I used to do spend a lot of time dog training. Now it's mostly walks and cuddling. I like photography, like with a real camera, not just a cell phone. So I do like photography, and I like baking chocolate stuff.
Well, those are most of our questions. Does anybody else have one? Stacy, thank you for being here with us today. We had so much fun. We learned so much. We can't wait to read about the dwarf planets. And I'm really interested to read the blood book. Those are so fun.
That'll be a good one for as we go into the second half of the year and Halloween and all that stuff. I think is perfect. So thank you for having me. I hope everybody enjoys reading my books and any books. I hope you pick up something great to read today. So,
what a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, friends.